Hey everyone. I just talked about the whole Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice title being announced. And as sad as that sounds, as tremendous news as that is, along with everything else, there was one video that I'm going to do right now just quickly as to what I feel should be the next animated project down the line for DC Universe's animated originals, the DC's animated universe originals, or animated originals universe. The movies that they do, like recently Son of Batman, and then of course Arkham, Assault on Arkham, which comes out I think next month or later this month or next month or so. I can't think of it right now. Or July. I was kind of thinking to myself, what could be the next big storyline that they could work on? Especially since they want to kind of focus themselves in the New 52 universe. And they've done War, they've done the adaptation of the Justice League origin for the New 52. They've done Son of Batman, and I know this because I have the movies. They did the movie that led in to the New 52, Flashpoint Paradox. So, what could be next? So what can be next? I mean, we know, again, like I say, we're getting Assault on Arkham. I think we're getting some other ones. But to me, what could be the next major one for them? Because in my opinion, the biggest one they've done so far, besides Superman Doomsday, which was the very first one, and believe me, that was a good one. I've watched that thoroughly. I thought to myself, what could be the next one? What could be the one that really stands out? Well, I know that the second biggest one they did was probably the biggest animated film yet, and that was the adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns, which they split into two parts, and essentially made, I think, both in the hours, basically about 2 hours 20 minutes worth. A film, a little over 2 hours 20 minutes worth of film. So, that's good and all. But the question is, what could they do next? And there's a lot of stories out there so far by the New 52 that could be adapted. But it seems that they like to favor, when it comes to multiple movies, they like to favor Superman, Batman, or the Justice League, or heck, maybe even Wonder Woman if they ever decide to do it. So, to me, what could be the next big one? I mean, be that project to where they would need not one, not two, but maybe 3 or 4 different movies to tell the story. To me, it has to be a storyline that Bob Schuex, and you can look this up on blimp.tv, that Bob Thomas, did as a review. And that is Death of a Family. That's right. I truly believe this could be the next major one for them. The next major one that spans not 1, not 2, but maybe 3 or 4 DVD, Blu-ray, digital HD releases. Because think about it this way. Think about it this way. The story itself spans 13 issues, well, not 13 issues, but 23 issues of all the Batman-related titles across the board. It basically, spans this issue across the board. I mean, this storyline basically spans these issues across the board. And that is a major thing. That's a major thing. I mean, it's like when I look at what they did with Sonic recently, from basically October 2011 up till last summer and afterwards, that's a lot of issues to do one major storyline, right? It is a lot of issues. But then also if you count the Genesis story thing that they did and 225 that came before it, then yeah, and going up till recently last year before the Worlds Collide deal, then yeah, it's a pretty big big deal when you think about it. Pretty big lengthy story. So to me, I'm not surprised that Death of a Family spanned that many issues. But if it's willing to span that many issues and get an overall positive review from what I've read online, then there is no doubt in my mind that this needs to get that treatment as the next big DC animated universe title, that could be a direct-to-video, Blu-ray, direct-to-DVD, Blu-ray, digital HD release. Now I know you might be saying, well, Brian, that sounds good and all, and it sounds like it's reasonable, but it's very dark. It's more intense than any of the other DC titles. Let me explain something here to you. All right. Again, I own Batman. I own Superman, Doomsday. I own Batman, Superman, Public Enemies, and Apocalypse. I own Justice League War. I own Son of Batman. I own both Batman, The Dark Knight Returns movies. I have All-Star Batman. I have All-Star Superman on DVD in a sense, along with DC Showcase. Okay? So what does that tell you? That when you watch every single one of those, there's always going to be certain very intense, violent scenes. Heck, take a look at the freaking Spectre short. What does that tell you? Right? What does that tell you? My point is this. Okay? My point is this. Yeah, it's a little bit more intense, a little bit more violent than the titles that have been adapted and will be adapted. But you know what? To me, it could do for the DC animated universe, it could do for those DVD, Blu-ray, and digital HD sales what Superman has done, and obviously what Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 have done. And that's up the ante, that's taken them to that next level, that's really make them successes. And Death of a Family is the perfect stop. Heck, check Batman Under the Red Hood. What does that tell you? That's an adaptation or a follow-up of Death in the Family. Alright? That's basically a sequel to a Death in the Family, and explains how the original the Robin #2, Jason Todd, was brought back and made into the new Red Hood. The thing is, folks, it can be done. And to me, as long as they've drawn this story out, and sure, some people have said there's been a few hiccups here and there, as long as they've drawn this story out, there is no doubt in my mind it's worthy of getting that treatment. And again, going in that direction is not further than what Dark Knight Returns did. Because It's a longer story. It's more intense. It's just overall something that I think would fit perfectly into the DC animated universe down the line. And again, you may think I'm crazy in suggesting it, but I'm not. Because how many movies does DC bring out a year? So far, from what I have seen, we're going on number 3 and possibly number 4. So you're looking at 3 or 4 movies a year. So if they were to start out one year by so if they were to dedicate a whole year to this entire storyline, to adapting this entire storyline for DVD, for a DVD, Blu-ray, digital HD release, I don't think that would be a problem for them. I don't think it would be a problem at all. Because you could start out the year with Death of a Family Part 1. You can go into about the spring, late spring, if you will, mid to late spring with Death of a Family Part 2. You can go into the summer, midsummer, maybe late summer with Death of a Family Part 3. And then you can end it in the fall, winter, maybe even the start of the following year with Death of a Family Part 4. Makes sense. You span it throughout the year. People want to see it. And then here's what you do if you're Warner Brothers and you're Warner Brothers and the DC departments. And here's what you do if you're Warner Brothers. You take all the DVDs, Blu-rays, if you will. You package them together in a box set and say, here. If you haven't been able to get the entire collection yet, all the movies just yet, as soon as the 4th one comes out, release it individually, but also say at the same time, if you haven't gotten the other ones, here you go, Death of a Family box set, and you can add in a little trinket here. You can add in the Joker face mask, like you've done with the others, with the Death of the Family graphic novels. And to me, again, it would work. I think honestly, legitimately, this would work for DC. I really, for the DC animated universe. And you could even add in little prelude featurette films, as extras that help lead in to that next movie, if you will, into the next part. Like, with the first one, you could do a sort of a featurette of how the Joker basically requests the doll maker to cut his face off. Just saying. And then for like part 2, you could do the preludes for both Catwoman. You could do the preludes, the featurette preludes for Catwoman and Batgirl. And there you go. You could do a documentary on the history of how the story came about, why it was received so well, all that. But to me, I think Death of a Family, Batman's Death of a Family, should be next. Should be the next big DC animated universe project for a direct-to-home video release, for a direct-to-DVD, Blu-ray, digital HD release. And you can agree with me, or you can disagree with me. But that's just how I feel. That's what I feel. So, let me know what you guys think, though. Do you think Batman Death of a Family should be the next DC Animated Universe project? Because I think it should be. I really think it can be. So, let me know what you guys think down below. Video response if you like, comment if you like. But again, let me know what you guys think down below. But to me, I know I sound like a broken record, but this has the potential. You have 23 issues of Batman-related titles that it spans across. You can go into exposition if you want to, in a behind-the-scenes documentary, stuff like that. and again, come about of how the story originally was conceived, and why suddenly you feel that, and why they suddenly feel, hey, it would be perfect for a movie or multi-tie of movies or multi-release of movies. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I am out. I got to get ready to go to my nephew's ball game in a little bit. So I am out. God bless. Take care. And perfect timing. So peace out. God bless. Comment below. But again, it's my opinion. I think this is worthy of being put on the table of movie projects the DC animated universe can adapt and should adapt.